Hey there, creepy peeps. My name is Nightmare Maven. Welcome to my channel. Let's talk about requels. If you're new here, hi, hello, welcome. So happy you found my channel. Hopefully you stick around for a while. For those of you that are returning, however, welcome back. Very happy to see you again. As you can tell from the title, I'm going to be talking about the latest Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie that premiered on Netflix yesterday, if you happen to be watching this video on the day it comes out. This new movie, which is a direct sequel to the original 1974 Texas Chainsaw Massacre, follows a group of influencers who are looking to buy and rebuild a ghost town in the middle of nowhere, Texas. They soon encounter Leatherface, who has been hiding out in the town for the past 50 years. I don't hate this franchise. It's definitely not one of my favorites either. I really only ever rewatch the original and the remake because that was the first one I saw. Those are the ones that I tend to enjoy and I have rewatched many times. The rest of them I've seen once and I don't really feel the need to watch them again. All of that to say, I have zero expectations going into this movie. So after I saw this new movie, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022, I'm really not a fan of these movies, like creating requels and then not calling them something else. Anyways, as soon as I got done watching this newer film, I took to the internet to see what everybody else thought about it. And I kept seeing a lot of comparisons, of course, to the original 1974 film, especially comparisons about like the subtext within each movie regarding like the class tension that's in both. A lot of people will just chalk it up to different opinions. We're saying that this new one, 2022, was a lot more heavy-handed than the original. I have a different opinion. I feel like both were pretty clear in that class tension. You know, in the original, I feel like that's like the entire movie. You have like these kids that are clearly from like the city or the suburbs, whatever, coming into backwoods Texas and things go wrong. Like it, that whole hitchhiker scene at the beginning of the movie in the van, it's like, I don't know, I feel like the class tension was like right there. I think the real difference with this requel is that they just threw a lot more at the wall than just the class tension. There's a lot more, there's many more messages that they tried to stuff into this movie. There's a very like nihilistic approach to the way the characters are presented, both in the way that they're portrayed, like their actions, and the stuff that happens to them within the movie. Like, it's very much giving me everything sucks, past, present, future, and there's nothing we can do about it. It's just all violence and death. I don't mind the blunt, heavy-handed messaging. I feel like it has just as much place in media as the more like subtle messages. I just wasn't a fan of the story itself. Like, I just had way too many questions with it being set like so far away from the original and then marketing it as a direct sequel to this. I feel like there's just too many questions that they didn't answer. Like, what was Leatherface doing this entire time? How did he end up in this ghost town? Like, was he younger than we thought? Because I feel like, you know, at most he's 70. If this was a ghost town, like when these kids showed up, like how the fuck was Leatherface surviving? Like, so many questions. I feel like they kept the background, at least of like what Leatherface was doing, really vague. Like there wasn't any maybe kind of like intro that shows us like maybe a few things that happened when this time passed, or like the, you know, like the words scrolling in the beginning to kind of give us an idea. Like, I just feel like there was too many questions, way too many questions. The gore was on another level though. I'd say the whole movie is worth watching just for the blood and guts alone. And I usually don't have a preference for this sort of thing. I enjoy the implications of violence in the original, but I also enjoy seeing Leatherface just being like entirely and unapologetically brutal. Like, it was incredibly satisfying. And I know this is supposed to be a direct sequel to the original, so like all the other films in the franchise are not canon in this one, but it felt like the filmmakers were trying to combine like the two tones that this franchise have depending on like what timeline you want to follow, because some of the movies in this franchise are really gritty and like real and sweaty and gross and dirty, and other ones are kind of goofy and silly and cheesy. Speaking of cheesy, I thought the addition of Sally was cheesy to the max. Need to kind of expect this more maybe in the future with the success of Halloween 2018. I feel like people are seeing that and they're like, okay, we got to do that. We got to bring back all these OG final girls. But I feel like they just added her in the movie for that purpose, because that seems like it's kind of becoming a trend now. We've had Lori come back, we had Sydney come back, now we're having Sally come back. Like I feel like if they were going to introduce her as this like badass character that they were introducing her as, she just would have been in there more, especially because they make it a whole point that, you know, she has essentially been like holding a candle for Leatherface the past 50 years because she wants to kill him so bad. Overall, this isn't my least favorite entry into the franchise, but it's definitely like, it didn't do it for me either. Aside from the gore, like plot-wise, character-wise, I feel like this movie was super forgettable. So I'm gonna give this a 2 out of 5. I didn't write down the ratings anywhere else yet because I was gonna wait till I edited it. So in front of my face right now should be what the movie currently has on IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes, and Letterboxd and all that. So if you haven't seen this already, make sure you give it a watch. Make sure you give the original a watch, because this Friday upcoming on this channel at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Emma from Spooky Astronauts and I are doing our Does This Offend You live stream, and we're going to be talking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1974 and Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022. And of course, just let me know what you thought of this movie in the comment section, especially if you're a Texas Chainsaw fan. Like, I want to know what you thought specifically too. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new here. Become a Creepy Peep today. I will see you very soon with Does This Offend You in a new video and all that. Until then, stay strange. Bye.